and by no means do I consider myself to be an expert on this. Alrighty guys, get your tea, let's do this. Number 1, research. Whatever style it is that you're wanting to get into, research your heart out. Look it up on Google, find fashion blogs for it on Tumblr, find other people who dress that way, join communities. Whatever you do in life, the more you understand it, the better you'll be at it, so research. Make note of what things seem to be most fundamental to the style you're interested in. What elements seem to be key to this look? For example, Lolita fashion always makes use of skirts or dresses with a dramatized shape, often a bell or cupcake shape. Flat skirts are generally not considered to be part of the Lolita aesthetic because it takes inspiration from the Victorian and Rococo fashions of historical Europe, which were often very elegant in their nature, something flat skirts simply do not adhere to. This is just one example, but you can do this kind of breakdown with any style, whether it be fairy kei, visual kei, mori, cult party, etc. You simply want to analyze pictures for reoccurring themes and figure out how you want to incorporate those themes into your personal wardrobe. Also, along this train of thought, researching the origins of a fashion can actually help you in deconstructing its key elements, as it will give you an extra source of material to observe and learn from. Number 2, collect sources of inspiration. I mean, like, hoard them. This sort of ties in with number 1 in the sense that it's kind of like research, but it's more personal research. I honestly recommend making a Pinterest board where you can just collect all the images that you find, but however you go about it, ultimately the point is to create a space where you can gather all your sources of inspiration to refer back to them when you want to figure out what you want your personal style to look like. Even though there are generally guidelines within a fashion that you should follow in order to look the part, everything in between those guidelines is really open to personal interpretation. If you want to customize your own look to your personal tastes, it really helps to have a plethora of visual references to guide you along your way. As an example, if you're interested in cult party kei and you're not really sure where to start, you can start by looking up images on Tumblr or blogs on Tumblr specific to it. You can look up stores or items on Etsy or Store Envy or wherever. You can simply gather images from about the internet and save them to your Pinterest or wherever for future reference. It doesn't just have to be limited to clothes either. I've saved images of flowers, of dolls, of makeup, of drawings, etc. because I found they inspired me. You can save pictures of fabric, textures, colors, plants, people, whatever it is that makes you think, hey, I could use this. Just keep a copy of that somewhere so that you can refer back to it in the future when you need something to kickstart your creativity. Number 3, participate in frequent private dress-up days. If you have nowhere to go and nothing to do, just get up, go over to your closet and start messing around with clothes. This is, in my opinion, an absolutely essential part of the creative process of fashion. You need to have that limitless, pressure-free, one-on-one time with yourself to just explore what your tastes are and to come up with cool coordinates. And if it doesn't turn out, who cares? It's all part of the learning curve. Every time you create an outfit you dislike, you learn as much, if not more, than every time you create an outfit you do like. Both are necessary, both are meaningful. Number 4, do not let yourself stay discouraged. I'm not going to tell you not to get discouraged because that's a natural part of life, but do not let yourself stay there. No matter how many outfits you make that you dislike, keep trying. I have spent hours upon hours on end in my room creating outfit after outfit after outfit that I hate. I'll be exhausted and frustrated and I will get one more idea, and a voice in my head will encourage me to just give it one more shot, and it's in those moments that I've created some of my best outfits. Along that same note, if you decide to share your creations with the world, either via the internet or in public, you will very likely at some point receive unwanted criticism. Don't let them get you down. Everyone is entitled to their opinion, but that doesn't mean that you have to care what their opinion is. These are your clothes, and this is your body. No one has a right to tell you what to do with it or how to dress it. Your happiness and the way you pursue it is your private journey. You are not obligated to let anybody else in on that. If this makes you happy, then hold on to that feeling. Never, ever, ever, ever sacrifice doing what you love simply because somebody else doesn't like it. Number 5. This one is probably one of my biggest ranting points in all of J fashion. I used to be guilty of this myself, but not anymore. Do not get all hung up on rules. And do not let anyone else force you to be all hung up on rules. There are some very prevalent elitist attitudes in a lot of fashion communities. And for some reason, people love running around telling other people what they should or should not do. I found this to be so stifling. Obviously, there are things you kind of have to do in order to resemble whatever style it is you're going for. But by no means do you have to downplay your tastes or stay within a predefined box all the time. Be courageous enough to step outside the parameters laid before you. Don't be afraid to experiment. If someone barges into your space and starts telling you that you shouldn't mismatch your socks, or that you shouldn't wear mismatched shoes, or that fairy kei and steampunk should never be combined, that you're too tall to wear Lolita and you should leave the fashion, or that cult party kei is only for pale-skinned people, then you should probably just turn the volume on your tire up about 10 notches and not give 2 shakes, because that's stupid. Don't let anyone restrict you or your potential. Alternative fashions are kind of meant to be, by definition, alternative. So just do your thing. 6. Do not get competitive. Other people in the community are not your competition, and it will do you a world of good if you can keep that in mind. This can be hard because sometimes people will try to force you into a sense of competition against your will by pitting you against other people in the community. This happened to me a couple times when I was into Fairy Cape, where people would comment on my things or comment idly about the internet, comparing me to this or that individual or saying so-and-so does it better. It only happened a handful of times, but because I didn't know any better and because I didn't understand the choice I had in it all, I allowed myself to be pulled into an unhealthy game that I didn't even want to be part of. I started viewing the girls that I was being pitted against with jealousy and slight bitterness, despite never having really even interacted with them. And I hated feeling that way, but I felt like I had to outdo these people in order to be accepted and acknowledged. Feeling that way will honestly just mess you up. It will only serve to hinder you and what you do. So don't let yourself go there. Instead of seeing those who dress the same way as you, whether it is better or worse than you, as rivals, try to see them as family. You have at least one giant thing in common, the way you dress. And you are both standing together as allies, expressing yourself to a world that would rather see a toned-down version of you. Focus on your similarities and not your differences. This is not a race. This is not a contest. Don't let anyone make you feel like it is. 7. Prepare for a block of cheese with this one. Love yourself. You might think self-love has little to do with fashion, but the complete opposite is actually true. Self-love gives you self-confidence. Self-confidence allows you to own what you do. Self-love gives you self-worth. Self-worth helps you stand strong against hatred, criticism, and self-doubt. Self-love allows you to treat yourself. Instead of wallowing in insecurity and guilt, thinking you're wasting time, wasting money, being vain and self-centered and vapid, you can instead understand that spending time on yourself, pampering yourself, investing in yourself, and doing something which makes you feel good about yourself are all worthwhile and valuable pursuits. Having a good relationship with yourself physically and mentally will give you the strength to do, create, and be so much more. Fashion is only one medium through which you can express that strength, but the two kind of complement each other. Number 8, don't sell yourself short. Never let yourself think this is all you're capable of, or that you'll never do better. Never let yourself think that you'll never be this good or that good. You are capable of achieving only that which you allow yourself to achieve. If you preemptively set a restriction on what you are capable of achieving, you will never surpass that, no matter how capable you actually are. It's like the law of attraction. What you think, you will become, and so on and so forth. By focusing on what you can do, you move forward. By focusing on what you can't do, you stand still. You will make your own prediction of failure come true simply because you are preventing yourself from ever moving forward, and therefore succeeding. So do not sell yourself short. Do not predict your own failure. Bolster yourself with predictions of greatness, no matter how insincere. Trick yourself into moving forward, and eventually you'll find that you will keep moving naturally, without any self-deception required. Number 9, get creative. I know that sounds so fantastically redundant and unnecessary, but I don't just mean in regards to your clothes. If you're on a budget, you don't have a lot of money, or you don't have access to stores that carry the kind of clothes you want for your style, you're going to have to get creative. Try thrifting. Learn where to look for clothes that can work for your tastes. Try to make your own stuff if you can. Learn to think outside of the box a bit. Don't just shop in the women's section. Look in the men's section. Look for things you can alter, change, add on to, dye, take away from, combine together. If you can't find anything at one store, don't give up. Go back in a couple days or in a week when they get more stock in. Go check another store. Go check 5 stores. Be tenacious. If you have no thrift stores you can visit in your area, find thrift stores online. There are a ton of stores on Etsy that sell nothing but craft supplies and fabrics. You can easily buy from them to make your own garments. Don't give up just because it won't be as easy for you as it might be for other people. You deserve to have this happiness, even if you might have to work a little harder for it. And finally, number 10, be yourself. Again, it seems redundant and unnecessary, but it is so crucial to being able to get all the enjoyment you can out of this art form. Or any art form for that matter. Rely on your own creativity, your own imagination, your own ideas. Do not try to copy other people. It is utterly unfulfilling and unsatisfactory. Be inspired by others. That's where all new ideas come from, external inspiration. But don't copy anyone. You will never be able to do exactly what someone else does as good as that person, because they're the author of their own style. And it comes from a place within them that you don't have. A place that was constructed from their own life experiences, their own tastes, their own dreams and desires. The image we construct for ourselves externally reflects fragments within us. You will never be able to master the individuality someone else has painstakingly cultivated, nurtured, and grown out of the various places of their own heart. So do not bother trying. Work instead to foster that uniqueness within yourself, to grow the seeds you've already planted, to allow your own world to flourish. This is one of the most rewarding aspects of dressing in an alternative style. Do not rob yourself of that joy by settling for replicating the efforts of somebody else. Stay true to yourself. You will be appreciated and will appreciate yourself all the more for it. That about sums it up. Those are my top 10 tips for you all. Ultimately, I consider helping you guys develop a mentally and emotionally healthy approach to fashion to be far more important than any rules, guidelines, or stylistic tips I could give you guys. And I hope this video was helpful to you all in light of that. That being said, if you guys would like videos more focused on stylistic tips and guidelines, I could try to accommodate that in the future as well. But I guess that's it for today. If you guys have any suggestions for the next Tea Talk video, remember to leave them in the comments below and to upvote the ones you like best for next time. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next video. Bye! Why? Lolita fashion always makes use of skirts or dresses. Lolita fashion always makes use of skirts or dresses with a traumatized shape. Duh! Flat skirts are not considered to be part of the Flat skirts are not considered